On to you, Steph. Let's get started.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining today's SAP Community Migration Series call. Let's do this. I would like to go through the agenda, and then we'll get started. Today, we are going to first welcome SAP mentor Danielle Laqa. We are going to have specific calls to action to you in the community so that you can have the best out of your engagement. We are going to do a show and tell on the product area, and then we're going to have a moderated Q&A. I'm going to turn it over to Craig so that he can get started. Thanks, Craig. Thanks, Danielle.
All right. Thank you much. Good day, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I am completely all over the place in terms of time zones. We did a call earlier today with Australia with Chris Payne, and now I have the pleasure of having Danielle here with me for a call this afternoon, or at least this afternoon for me. So welcome, Danielle, to the call. Thank you so much for taking the time. Yeah, I'm excited to have you here with us and to talk about the community, the migration, and of course, some of the things that people can already do today with that future platform. So thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me. And Chris Payne is a tough act to follow, so I'm a little nervous.
You'll be just fine. Chris and I, of course, completely went off script. We were all over the place. We had no clue what slide we were on anymore. We just went all over. So I don't know if we want to call that a tough act to follow, but if we stay on track, I think we're already doing a step better. But it was a fun call, and this call, I'm sure, will be just as fun. And as you can see, everybody can see, there's a wonderful quote from you up on the screen already that we're super excited for. And that's why I'm really excited to have you on the call here with us today, because one of the main areas that are already active in our community is, of course, the SAP SuccessFactors area. So it's things that people can already take advantage of and already get involved in. And of course, you know, it's a topic that I know is close to you for all the things that you do, but also from the learning perspective as well. So we've got a couple of things that we'll get through here just to get the audience warmed up and get all excited. We're a couple of calls to action. First and foremost, we've got the big call is the universal ID and linking your accounts. So we want everybody to please go ahead and sign up, link those accounts, set up your profile, and of course, subscribe and join. And then we're going to go into a little bit more detail with Danielle on what's going on in the terms of the platform and everything like that. So if you haven't already got your universal ID, please scan the QR code, get that universal ID. Going forward in the community, you will need that universal ID, and we want everybody to have it already set up so that way your content stays your content. This is how you keep that content linked to your individual accounts. And then, of course, we've got, once you have the universal ID, if you go onto the platform, you have in the top right corner, there's a little silhouette of a person, and that person, all you do is click it, and it'll prompt you for what I think it still says username. It's really a display name. For example, mine is Craig Schmehill, but you can choose what you like. You know, if you're a gamer, if you have an alias, if you have a complicated name or something like that, you can choose, and you can change this at any point in time as well. But once you're in, you're in. And that's the wonderful thing about it, because this environment is our actual live platform environment. This is where we're in the process of moving all of our Q&A content, all of our blog posts to. We're bringing it all into this environment together. And we're really excited for that. And so if you already connect, you'll be ready to go once we're there. And then, of course, to stay on top of everything, we have a whole new area called the What's New. This is new things that are coming to the platform and community and everything like that. And for all of the SuccessFactor related folks out there, there's a brand new entry in there today about the SAP SuccessFactors user groups. We're actually bringing all of those groups together into one area to make it easier for all of the customers to be able to find, get access to, and connect. So keep informed and stay on top of what's new inside of the SAP community by subscribing to our What's New section. All right. But before we go any further there, Danielle, again, thank you for joining us on the call. And I would love for you to give the audience a little bit of insight into who you are, what you do, and some of the areas of the community that you're most familiar with in that regard.
Okay, well, good morning, everybody. Craig, thanks for having me. I'm Danielle and Laqa. I work for FEUs. I've been in this SAP space for over 25 years now, although I'm probably the least technical one of my SAP mentor colleagues in this distinguished group. I focus on all the HR and payroll elements, and I've got a passion for reporting, intelligent technology, and of course, artificial intelligence. I make an effort to view these things with a lens of the regular user like myself. Sometimes SAP can be a little bit technical, and I'd like to think my sweet spot is taking these complex concepts and transforming them into a language for the masses like me to understand.
Well, I think you're being a little bit humble in that regard. I've been able to and had the pleasure of seeing you in action, giving feedback to our board members and our executives and everything like that. So I definitely can sit there and say, you're not the masses. You have a unique eye. And I think it's a wonderful statement that you just made about how you look at this from those different perspectives and everything like that. And what's really exciting is that the SAP community has room for everyone. And especially as we look at artificial intelligence and machine learning as we go forward. So that's something I've just learned new. I didn't know that about you. So I'm really excited. We've got this whole brand new artificial intelligence and machine learning group that we've added in the community. Hopefully you've already joined and become part of that.
I did. I subscribed yesterday.
Fantastic. That is one of our first ones. And of course, as a lot of people know, SAP's just made some announcements about Joule, your co-pilot, and everything around those lines. So exciting times all around, but even more so on how this connects to all of the different product areas and topics and things like that we have in the community. And one of the reasons that we really were excited that you volunteered to help us out on this one is because one of the areas that's currently live in the platform, and if you go to the platform, we have, of course, our topic pages and everything like that where people can find everything, but we also have our product area. With the migration, this of course will change from products to a label products and technology, and it'll expand out to 8 different areas. And starting with, though, we're already live with the ones related to success factors. So the HXM suite, the human experience management area. So we're really excited about this. And I know this, as you said, this is your area of expertise, your area of knowledge. So I was hoping that you might tell the audience a little bit from your perspective, what you find in the space already, what you're finding interesting, how you're using the space, how you're following along, and just some general tips and tricks as we dance through the next couple of slides that just show this area and everything like that.
Okay. I probably say this more than I should, but back in the old days, and now I'm talking the late 1900s, it was hard to find information on SAP on several fronts. I don't know if you remember this, but the Help app used to be a client server software that was locally stored on your computer and updated infrequently. And it was quite limited and sometimes in German. So learning not online was very difficult. And if you wanted to go to training, you had to travel to one of, a handful of locations to attend actual classroom training in Dallas or Atlanta or whatever it was. And community, the whole concept of community back in my day was limited to the names of the people in your Rolodex and who you can call on the phone and ask a question about. So back then, it was really like this scarcity of information. Now, the opposite seems to be true. Now there is so much information out there online, an overabundance of information, and it comes from all these different sources. Some are legit, some are trusted, others are crafting a message to try and sell you something or downright providing misinformation. Knowing the right place to go for the critical information that you need is paramount. What is special and unique about the SAP community is that you're in a trusted space. where you can interact with like-minded individuals. You could build relationships, ask and answer questions, follow thought leaders, engage in discussions, all that good stuff. I'm excited that HXM is the first edition of products. I think HXM is the best. Of course, that's
Not biased at all.
not biased at all. But what makes HXM unique is it covers so many different areas. So you've got the HR, you've got the payroll, you've got the whole talent suite, you've got time and benefits and everything else. And you need one place to go to be able to consume the information that's so important to you. There's a difference, and I'm looking at your screen now, between SAP Community products that's designed for the individual user and the SAP Community, which is really based on what interests you specifically. When I was trying to explain this to some colleagues at work, I basically said this new community is like your Netflix. You can set it up to see just the things that you're interested in. So it's only going to propose content based on the things that you're following or subscribe to or the groups that you belong to. So you're not sifting through this overabundance of information that's not relevant to you. You're actually looking at a targeted community that has the messages that you care about.
That's a great way to describe it. That is brilliant.
The Netflix.
I'm not sure I can say that, but you did, so that's great.
Okay. Nope, no copyright infringement here. So for me, for HXM, it's now my my first stop for when I have a question. And being somebody who's been around SAP for a really long time, everybody seems to give me their hard questions because they know I will research and find an answer. What I like about the way that the community does it now, it's a little bit different. That in the old way, it would appear kind of like it would be like a paragraph style with filters for content types and tags is the way I used to interact with it. And now in this new view, I can have all these filter options right at the top. And I can include the items that I want to get to. For example, I can now parse metadata or authors or the types of post. And I can limit my results by date. Right now, it's on the old community. If I were to type in, and I did this yesterday, something like vacancy processing, the top hits came out. Some of them were 2014 to 2009, or ridiculously old dates that probably don't have relevant information in them. So I love that this has the date option in here where I could say I'm only interested in what's happened lately, because with SAP there'd be like a whole documented workaround on how to handle something that SAP will usually be innovative and say, you know what, you don't have to do that workaround. Here's the new functionality. I want to get past all those workarounds and get right to the good stuff. So,
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited about the community. I'm excited that HXM is first. We are the best. We are special. And I look forward to my content moving over here.
Yeah, no, and actually that's a big thing too that I want to point out. There is, I just noticed a comment in the chat about the fall of audience, and there's something that I think a lot of people maybe not understanding right now. So we're still separated into two separate environments, right? We have the community.sap.com that has the Q&A area and the blogging that's like 2.5 million questions and answers, 150,000 blog posts, and then we have this environment that we keep referring to as groups, but it's actually an environment purpose-built on community-driven software, community software that's purpose-built, that also has a lot of this SuccessFactors content now in it, but it doesn't have everything. And part of the migration is going to be taking those 2.5 million questions and the 150,000 blog posts, and it's going to be bringing all of that together into, as you said, bringing all of your content from one place, bring it all over to this other. So a lot of people are thinking, oh, wow, SuccessFactors, we've lost a lot. We actually have it still. It just split into two different areas, and some people navigated here, some people navigated here. And so part of this migration is going to finally be bringing all of this together under one umbrella for everybody to get to. And of course, as you said, we started here with the HR related, the SuccessFactors related content, but we have so much more in there. There's even the partner area for SuccessFactors is in here. So if you have a partner login, you can get to that as well. So we are working to bring it all together, and we're only a few weeks away from our full-blown migration, and it's all going to be coming together, and we're going to be excited for that. But to your point, some of the new search and filtering functionality will help to make sure that the 2.5 million questions doesn't erode your results and give you that old stuff again. In many cases, it's still very relevant. In other cases, not so much. So we're excited for the new functionalities of the environments. So very cool. All right. The slides keep moving. It's great. There's still more to go, trying to keep me on track. I went rogue this morning, so they're trying to keep me on track here. So what you see today in the environment, as you said, it's the HXM related stuff. I never know if to call it HXM or human experience management. I always try to spell it out just because I'm not a big fan of acronyms. Crazy considering where I work.
Absolutely. I think there's a law against that if you work for SAP.
But we have we have the Q&A environment, we have the blogs environment. And one of the things that is going to be changing is right now we have the blog post environment, and we will actually have sorry, a little distracted there. We will actually be providing a blogs by SAP. So you'll be able to target the ones written by SAP, written by the product teams, written by the experts of the product, but we'll also have that dedicated area of blogs by members. So if you're interested in following Danielle and what she's writing about, you'll be able to target it in there as well and be able to zoom in and target in on all of those things. And you can subscribe to one or the other, or you can subscribe to both and get your notifications and subscriptions and everything else. All
Craig,
right.
I love blogging, and I wish I had more time to do it. I've got this list of 50 topics I would love to get to. Some of them are really fun around AI. On the SAP side, I only have like 30 of them now, but the last one was about AI and machine learning and HXM if you want to read it. But I really do think it's important to share content, and it's really how my career in SAP got started. I wrote my first book back in the late 1900s, which was basically just my experience learning SAP, and it was called Teach Yourself SAP in 24 hours, which of course is entirely not possible, but it was one of those dummies type books. And I realized that there is this audience of people who just want easy instructions broken down for them. Whenever I figured out something new back in the day, I would write articles. And for those young people on here, we used to print articles and mail them to your house, believe that or not. But it's the same concept. And today, the creation and the sharing of the blogs is so helpful in our ecosystem, and it's a really important part of paying it forward. There's a blog that I looked up yesterday. Somebody asked me a success factors question, and it took me to a blog that not only had the answer, but it had these step-by-step instructions, which were great. And I looked at the top, and that blog, I forgot the girl's name, but it had like 30,000 views. So there are a lot of people that are out here and looking for this kind of content. Speaking of, your SAP community blog, I looked yesterday, had over 80,000 views. I don't think I've ever seen one with that many before. That's crazy.
And does it? I honestly, I hadn't even looked at it. My journey with SAP started also like 20 years ago. I was told by my manager, I was in Germany on a 1-year project. That worked out really well for me. It's 22 years later and I'm still here. But my manager said, hey, before you come back to the US, go learn this SAP thing. We need to install it when you get back. I was one of those people looking for that, learn it in 24 hours thing, because I thought I had to install SAP. Definitely. But yeah, the blogging is honestly, the blogging and the community is what saved me. Because I was completely wrong impression, wrong thoughts, wrong processes, and being able to find it and in the community. I shared this in the earlier call as well. It was Gregor Wolf in the community, also one of our SAP mentors, who was one of the first people that helped me out and to just understand what I was getting myself into and everything like that. So, being able to follow some of those individuals individuals like yourself. I've already made a note to go read the blog post that you wrote about artificial intelligence, because it's just a whole new world ahead of us. And knowing that there's pillars of our community like yourself that are still contributing, they're paying it forward, is just a great opportunity for us to really just be able to dive in and help everybody get started. And the community is just, it's the perfect place for it. It's that opportunity to log in, subscribe, go look around, start searching, find what you need to find, subscribe to those things, join those groups, join the conversation. And what's really cool is for the SAP community, it's the group's environment has offered us a new content type that we haven't had for a very long time. And that's the ability to have a conversation, a discussion, a back and forth. So we're excited about that as well. And then just to see it all happening and all of it coming together. And yeah, it's chaotic right now. It really is. It's chaotic right now. We're still bringing it all together. We're bringing all these things together. SAP is on a journey of making life easier for the customer by bringing all of those disconnected communities that we had into the SAP community. So it is a journey that we're on. Bear with us, please bear with us. Give us a chance to get through some of these steps and processes and everything like that. And there's just so many opportunities, which takes me to the segue. Danielle, how can you engage as a member, right? What are some of those other tips and tricks that you have for all the people out there listening and watching in on this that we can, just recommend to them?
I appreciate that staying in the know on constantly changing technology landscape is critical for our survival. And as an old person who's set in their ways, it's kind of easy to just stay in your comfort zone and just do your day-to-day work and not carve out time to engage in something like the community. But you have to do it. You have to branch out and you have to engage or learn something new. So you ask how I'm doing it. This may not be best practice, but I carve in 3 hours a week in my calendar for education and engagement. So even though I use the community as part of my day-to-day job to look up questions and to interact with colleagues, I also try and carve out time for education. I need to learn something new every day or I'm going to become a dinosaur. So even though it's only 3 hours, it usually winds up being on a Sunday morning when I would rather be sleeping. But what I try and do is identify the feeds for interesting topics, things that I want to learn more about. Again, AI changes every minute, and you have to really stay on top of it to keep in mind. So the words of wisdom in terms of how I engage as a member is I try and find the topics I'm interested in and subscribe to them. Again, I'm only seeing the content that's relevant to me. Believe me, I spend a ton of time unsubscribing for stuff that I never registered for that shows up in my inbox. But this is something that I'm actually interested in. So I'm going to go to the point of looking for the spots that interest me and subscribing to get the content that's relevant. It's pretty easy to get started, join in a discussion, start a new discussion. Also, be sure to join one of the groups, especially if it's one that I'm in. What I like is you get notified when someone responds to a specific post or a topic. The exchanging private messages with members is pretty cool. In the old days, you used to have to know somebody. I was joking that community used to be your Rolodex. You had to be like, what was that guy's name? Brandon Toombs. Yeah, and you had, people don't know what a Rolodex is probably. Your address. I'm really dating myself here. But yeah, you would rely on those same thought leaders, the Brandon Toombs, the Steve Bogners, and you'd have to know them and have the relationship to ask the question. Now, all of these thought leaders are on here. And the ones who aren't as famous as Steve or Brandon, who have this great intel, they're on here too. And you can start up a new relationship with them and identify these new folks who could share information with the community. So I'm excited about submitting my own blogs. I'm excited about interacting with you all on the community. And I encourage you to, like I try and do, is carve out time for this, not just for your day-to-day job, but for education. If you're not learning something new every week, you're going to turn into a dinosaur, and you don't want to do that. And this is a great place to do it, with so many opportunities on here for you to interact with folks. This is one of the great places to go to carve out some time for education.
That's a great way to say it, and I really like how you talked about those relationships, because probably my most favorite thing on the particular slide that just came up is the last line. It's the networking and lifelong relationships. It's being able to connect to the people, and one of the big things about the SAP community that we've been really striving for lately is those local connections. That's why we have these local based city based groups that are out there. So if you're in the Dallas area and you want to meet other people that are talking in the SAP space around Dallas that live in the area, join the group. Newtown Square, New York, we have all these different groups and we're setting them up, and if somebody is interested in one of them, they can actually reach out and say, hey, I'd like to start a city-based group in my city. Hey, I'm in Miami. I want to start one in Miami. It's a really quick, easy process. We do talk it through with you to make sure that there's at least something there. Not that you, like me, I live in a very small town in Germany, and the only SAP people here are the company I used to work for, right? So, they're not really active here. They just call me up and say, hey, Craig, where do I find this type of thing, which is kind of fun because it's been 20 years and they still call me up and say, hey, where do I find this? And my
That's a
answer
compliment.
usually, yeah. And, I usually give them the same answer. Yeah. community.sap.com. But still, it's a great opportunity because, again, it's those lifelong connections and the relationships that we build through the community over time that are there. So we're really excited about this. We're really excited about the changes. We're excited that folks like you are with us on this journey. I'm really excited about that. I'm trying to catch the chat as well. There's a Philippe in the chat. He's the one that mentioned the fall of the audience. That's why I wanted to address that. And he just mentioned, not to mention thousands of SAP notes. Yes,
Yeah,
thousands of SAP notes.
There's just so much information available on the internet in general, and so many different websites to visit, and there's data to consume. It's nice to have a community that you could subscribe to that's curated to include only the stuff that you're actually interested in, like a place to go to get the latest on development, strategy updates. I also think the badges stuff is cool. I know that's an old lady talk, but I am a big believer in the whole science of gamification, and I'm a self-proclaimed overachiever. So I love getting those little badges every time I accomplish something. It's a little pat on the back. It shows I'm like an expert on something, or that I completed a certain competency. It's also helpful when I research the community for questions. I can tell who's got credentials. Is the person giving me the answer, somebody who's got a bunch of years of experience? Did they take the free Open SAP course on AI? Are they, knowledgeable enough to do this? But I think there's a lot of fun things to check out. And What's New is the place that I suggest everybody get started.
Absolutely. It's funny you should mention the badges. We've been having a whole bunch of conversations internally about the badges. We're in the process of recreating all of the badges that we've had over the years. It's over 1,300 different unique badges, but this is over the past 20 years. And we're recreating them in the system so that with the migration, if you've earned them, you will still have them, but we're also retiring them. So you'll still have them if you've already earned them. You still have a chance to finish up any ones that are still pending right now. And then we were actually having a brand new set of badges starting with the migration. So it's a chance for even as old timers to re-earn some of the new badges and everything like that. In fact, I just tried my hand at designing a badge this morning, actually, where I'll give you a little sneak peek. It's a welcome to the community badge. And I thought, oh, this would be kind of cool. Of course, the designers will look at it, probably tell me I should stick to my day job and not try to do design work. But maybe we'll get something like that in there as well. But we're really excited for it because we're also redesigning our rank ladder, right? So the rank ladder in the community today, you'll see it says like cosmic and galactic and all of this. So we're actually going to relaunch that with the migration as well. We'll have a dedicated one for employees. so that an employee doesn't just say employee next to it. We're actually have levels for them as well. But then for our external users like yourself and people watching, we're going to have a dedicated rank ladder levels for each of you. And then, of course, that means we'll also be able to do the leaderboards a little bit differently. We'll be able to do a separation so that the leaderboards are members of the community, not just the employees, but we'll also be able to do things for the employees as well. So we're really excited about a lot of the functionality and the options that are coming available with this. Just the whole platform is just giving us opportunity, right? From the private messaging to not having to follow and be followed and everything like that with the private messaging to be able to talk to people. But then the rank ladders, the gamification, the badging, all of these things. And what's really cool is that with the rank ladders, you can actually earn permissions. So we're going to actually have this set up to where after a certain period of time, you can automatically do this, or you'll automatically be able to do that type of thing as you move up. So if you're one of those individuals who likes gamification, the self-described overachiever, you'll have something to strive towards. And we're really excited about that because it's also one of those opportunities we can actually even combine activities outside of the platform together, right? So if you're a participant, so if you went to the SAP TechEd event or registered for the virtual event or something, you actually got a TechEd badge. We can actually incorporate things like that into the rank ladder and everything. So it's a really just exciting prospects for us as we explore the possibilities and as we bring all of the different SAP communities together inside of the SAP community. How can we expand this? How can we explore this? Could we, for example, create a badge that says, I've explored HXM and CRM and ERP and this? Can we do that type of thing as well? So exciting opportunities for us all the way around.
Can I put you on the spot right now? We use, is it Credly for the badges that we get for completing SAP certifications?
Yes, I think it is.
That's definitely another opportunity to embed those certifications into the community as well.
It is a wonderful opportunity. We have a lot of really cool ideas and thoughts as we move forward, including, so I'll give another sneak peek. We're looking at the possibilities of, so for example, with the community today, you've been able to go to influence.sp.com and put in requests and things like this. We're actually going to be changing that with the migration, and we're going to have a new opportunity available for people to help influence what we do with the SAP community going forward. And that means we're also working closer together with the other digital platforms like learning.sap.com. And we want to really see what we can do as a company here at SAP. How do we make life easier across all of our digital properties for our customers and everybody? So absolutely. I would say it's not putting me on the spot, but maybe giving a sneak peek behind the curtain of potential things to come in the future as we work together with all of the other groups that are out there. So yeah, we really want to strive and make this the most optimal experience for everybody, for sure.
Not to get off topic, but I think that there's a great tie-in here to the whole conversation about universal IDs. Having things attached to your account and knowing that if you get your universal ID set up correctly, you can have all of your information in one place, whether it be the badges or the blog content. I don't think people necessarily appreciate what the universal ID piece of it is. So I just wanted to kind of tie back to that says, all that stuff that you've contributed, anything that you've earned, we're going to take this stuff forward and make it available to you in the new community world. And it starts with make sure you turn on your universal ID.
Absolutely. We didn't pay her to say that to anybody, but that's absolutely perfect. Yeah.
Can I get paid for saying anything? That would be awesome.
You'll get my undying gratitude. But folks, really, it's the universal ID is your opportunity to bring together any and all accounts you've had over the years and from all the different areas of the SAP. We're really working to try to bring all this together. So we're excited for that. And with that, we'll take a deep breath and we'll open it up for any Q&A. If you have a question, since we are doing a YouTube live stream, you will need to log into YouTube to actually be able to post into the chat and ask any questions there. And if you have any, we will happily attempt to answer them. And if not, that's okay, because you can always follow up later on in the community if you have additional questions, or you can reach out directly. Not to put Danielle on the spot, but she's a brilliant, amazing person, and I think she'd be happy to answer questions as well. So yes, if you have any questions, please let us know. And we'll have that uncomfortable moment of silence while we wait for the YouTube live stream to catch up to what we just said and see if there's any questions. All right, and I don't think there's any questions, so I will say, Danielle, thank you again so much for joining me on this, for sharing your thoughts and your insights about continuous learning, about carving out those 3 hours every week for learning purposes and everything like that. I can't thank you enough for taking the time and having this call together with me. So thank you.
Thanks so much for having me. I love being a mentor. I love participating in the community, and I hope to see anyone who's watching on the community. Let's interact and start a conversation.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone. Have a great one. If you do have questions afterwards, you can find us in the community, or you can continue to post comments in the chat. We'll do our best to answer. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. And Danielle, thank you, and have a great rest of your day.